Vegas, baby. Vegas.
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into another edition of Southwest Bias, coming to you live from a castle-themed hotel that was built in, I think, the 1980s in Las Vegas. And we're talking NBA Summer League because we've been out here since last Thursday and our souls are escaping our bodies. But we've watched a lot of basketball, if you could call it that. And Summer League is a time of massive overreactions, a time where guys who may never make it into the NBA become superstars in the minds of fans. And Phoenix Suns fans are no different, as they've already turned Koby Brea into the next Devin Booker. Some have said, come on, Malawatch is the next Anthony Bennett. And others are just wondering where Rasheer Fleming is in general. It's been an interesting time here, and those overreactions, well, I understand in particular the Koby Brea comparisons to Devin Booker, because Brea has obviously used parts of Devin Booker's game to model his after, in particular that step-back jumper we've seen, and he's got such a smooth three-point stroke that I understand the excitement. And I'm right there with you. I think this kid could be very good for this Suns team as a sharpshooter. But I'm not ready to put him in the Devin Booker category, and I don't think most people online are either. We're bored this summer. We want something to root for, and Koby Brea has provided that. There were a lot of people that freaked out that Kamon Malawatch didn't play in Sunday's game because, why do you need rest in Summer League? It's simple. Most of these first-round picks, in particular top 10 picks, only play in the first few games of Summer League. Suns were playing back-to-back. I think they'd rather see him playing on Monday today than they did against the Hawks on Sunday. There's nothing crazy about this. There's nothing bad about this. And I think it's just simple that they wanted to see him then. I wasn't concerned about what I saw on Friday from Kamon Malawatch. He came out and he did the simple things. And overreactions, like I said, are a huge part of Summer League. People are extremely worried about the right knee soreness of Rasheer Fleming. And I understand it, but it's also July, and training camp doesn't start till October. And he did practice with the team. So don't put me in the category of overly concerned. But I do have what may be and what might turn out to be a massive Summer League overreaction. But it doesn't involve anybody on the Suns Summer League roster. It involves Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks. I think that they are going to fundamentally shift the culture here in Phoenix, in part by themselves. We got to meet them on Friday at halftime of the Suns game. We talked to each of them in a pseudo press conference, and Dillon Brooks and his approach, his no nonsense, no BS, as he said, approach is exactly what this team has been missing. An edge, a toughness. And I know people like to vilify Dillon Brooks, and probably rightfully so for some of the things that have happened on the court. But when you talk to him, when you hear the way he looks at the game and where you think about it, you can't help but like it. And you can't help but think, man, I'm glad this guy is in a Suns uniform rather than playing against the Suns. But that wasn't the moment that really got me intrigued as much as the moment where Jalen Green walked right behind me in the media scrum and started asking Dillon Brooks questions. It showed off their personality. It showed off their connection. And it showed off that this is not the same Suns team that we've seen the last 2 years. There wasn't any kind of real joy outside of Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro last year. There wasn't any playful nature. Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks were entertaining and seemed to really have a connection that they're bringing to the Valley, but they're also bringing a chip on each of their shoulders. Jalen Green made it very clear that he was not particularly happy with the way that the Houston Rockets traded him, and that he's ready to be a massively dynamic backcourt with Devin Booker. The excitement was evident, but the chip on the shoulder was also evident. A guy that wants to prove something, a guy that, when he talked to us, owned the fact that he had some failures in the playoffs, but said his mindset is he's going to get back there every year and get better. Now, I don't know that they're going to make the playoffs this year, but I sure as heck prefer the mindset that Jalen Green's bringing than anything else. And I like that he's going to play with an edge, with something to prove, but that he wants to be dynamic with Devin Booker. It wasn't an I'm going to do, it's a we are going to do this. There is excitement for the first time in a long time. And maybe it is just Summer League hype. Maybe it is just the fact that we're all running on fumes in Vegas and looking for anything to be optimistic about when it comes to the Phoenix Suns. But what I saw from Dillon Brooks, Jalen Green, and even the attitude of Ryan Dunn, Kaman Wallawatch, Koby Brea, and Oso Ighodaro here at Summer League, I'm excited for it. That, and we've seen Oso Ighodaro as a point guard, and that's been entertaining as well with some of his dunks. But maybe that's all just my Southwest bias. We welcome in the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach, who set up this beautiful set. I mean, it is nothing screams Vegas and day, what are we on, 5 at Summer League? Quite like the setup we have here at the hotel that I'm not allowed to mention because Max will get very mad at me. But it is castle themed and at the end of the strip. So you put it together. Shane, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. This is the best place ever.
I've enjoyed it. Great stay. We've done a lot here in Vegas. It is our final day. We're packing up and getting ready to head home soon. But it's been entertaining. And Shane, did you have any overreactions from the Suns stuff that you've seen since we've been out here?
I think that the price of drinks here is a warning sign for the country.
That's not a Suns overreaction.
Because everybody knows that inflation starts in Las Vegas. It has never been this expensive before.
But what I was angry about, no $2 Mount Ishbia hot dogs at the venue. Hot dogs were $8 at the UNLV arena. And look, I'm going to go on a first world problem. There was no media food. So I ate a lot of $8 hot dogs while we were at the arena for 8-9 hours a day since we've been out here.
From a Suns perspective, my only overreaction is similar to many others with Brea. It's how did he fall into the second round? What did other teams not see? And I was trying to rationalize it myself, and it has to be defense. Like that has to be what it is. Looking at it yesterday, we're watching him yesterday. There were a couple, but he did have a nice block. I don't know. The good thing is defense is something that you can teach. Like you can't teach a 6'6" shooter that has you don't teach that in the course of a couple of years. Like that's just natural. That the stroke that he has. So
I feel like if he gets playing time, they have a lineup that can hide some defensive flaws from other guys. When you've got rim protectors like Mark Williams and Kaman Wallawatch, I think you certainly have an opportunity to be able to, to be able to hide some of those defensive flaws. So I think he'll be all right on that from that standpoint. I'm not overly concerned, but I think he might be one of those guys where we're super excited now and there might not be a lot of minutes for him in terms of, when we get to the regular season. We'll see. Shooting's always at a premium. If Grayson Allen or Royce O'Neal is no longer on this roster, maybe that opens up some minutes for him. I know there's still a couple moves left for the Suns to make. We know that buyout is looming. It is July 14th, which means tomorrow is when, Bradley Beal gets his guaranteed money that's coming up. So we'll see on that front. But Shane, we've had a good time here in Vegas. Just because we're leaving today doesn't mean we won't have some additional content coming up. Shane and I have had some fun here that we're going to share with you on the program throughout the rest of the week. You'll see there are some
Tomorrow's episode.
Well, we're going to show tomorrow's episode. You see, we've got some goodies here from what may have been a circus theme hotel as well. I'll say its name tomorrow because I don't really care that much about Max and free ads, but and that'll be fun. We also have a bit that we did with Suns fans and a couple mystery guests that you're going to want to stay tuned for, because Vegas, you never know who you're going to see. But I think my highlight of the trip, Shane, and the only thing that's keeping me going, the only thing that's kept me motivated to get to this point and get through this show, is I met Ted Lasso at Thomas and Mack Center.
True.
I did. I got to shake Jason Sudeikis' hand
while he was running away from you, but
hey, I took the chance. You know what? Sometimes you see greatness walk by you and you freeze up. Some people do that. Not Espo. I said, Mr. Sudeikis. He turned around. I said, love what you do. Shook his hand and he walked away. And I did not get a chance to ask for a picture or an interview, but that's all right. I shook Ted Lasso's hand, and he was wearing the most fantastic Hawaiian-themed shirt, button-down shirt and shorts, NBA outfit. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was very cool. This is always one of the best parts of Summer League, is seeing all the characters there. You know, there are obviously a slew of NBA players, personnel, media, but seeing all of the oddball people you didn't expect to see there, that's my favorite part.
Also, Patrick Ewing sitting within literally a foot of me yesterday was kind of fun. But Summer League is in the books for us, but we'll still be covering it on PHNX Suns. They got to watch along tonight. They'll be covering all the rest of the games, and we'll be back live every day from the studio starting tomorrow. But that's not all we have on the program. It is Rank Week here at PHNX and throughout All-City, and we've ranked top athletes and top moments, but we've decided to turn to the dark side this year. We are ranking what ifs and what could have happened in Phoenix sports. We're going to give you the first two of them right after this on Southwest Bias. Got to tell you about my friends at Branded Bills. It is hot out here in Vegas, just like it is at home in Phoenix. And I've done a lot of walking. I've been all over the place. And I've worn my Branded Bills hat throughout the trip because there is nothing better than the fit, the feel, and the way that they cool things down as a hat. I've never had hats quite like our friends at Branded Bills. So if you're looking for custom hats like our PHNX ones, if you're looking for Suns hats, U of A, ASU, GCU, they've got you covered. They've even got great state-themed hats that you can get, but it's not just hats at Branded Bills. They have apparel as well. They are from Mesa, and when you can support local, you got to do it. They are fantastic, and I want to give you a deal, right? It's just for you. Don't share it with anybody else. 15% off your first order when you use that promo code BBPHNX. That's 15% off your first order using that promo code BBPHNX at brandedbills.com. And All Pro Shade Concepts. I'm telling you, it's hot. My house gets ridiculously warm, but it's a little bit cooler thanks to my friends at All Pro Shade Concepts, and a lot cooler looking because of the drop-down shade that we got for our giant sliding glass door. It is unbelievable. What they build their shades with are fantastic. High-quality material. We've all seen the flimsy things that don't last. Mine is actually mechanical, so track that blends right into the home. It is fantastic, and I love it. So you got to check it out at allproshadeconcepts.com. They've been in the Valley for 20 years. They were voted number one by Ranking Arizona for patio shades in 2024. They have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google, and they are a BBB A+ rating. You'll love them. I love them. So get your free quote today at 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com to schedule your free estimate now. I mentioned it. It's PHNX What If Week, and we do this a lot in this bizarre July week where there's like hardly any sports. Sure, Mercury, They're playing. We love watching the Merc, but there's a large void, and not every night is there something. So we decide, let's bring out the what if. And this year, we're doing the biggest what ifs in the PHNX rankings, and we've got 10 of them. And I get the privilege of unveiling them to each and every one of you every morning here this week. And the biggest what if at number 10 is what we're going to look at. It's Luka. What if he was drafted by the Phoenix Suns? Now, I think this probably could have been higher than 10, but there was an esteemed panel of PHNX people that I was involved with. And when I say esteemed, it just means the oldest people on staff, Derek Montilla, myself, a Bo Brock, a handful of others that weighed in on exactly what order these what ifs should be in. But Luka, the 2018 draft, we all know it well. The debates were going on constantly. We heard Luka could be this once in a generation, but other people were like, DeAndre Ayton is the physical specimen and could be the next David Robinson, potentially mixed with Hakeem Olajuwon. We heard after the Dragan Bender situation, do you really want to go with another European guy? Which was a dumb argument because the two have nothing to do with each other, but it was one of the arguments. But what if Ryan McDonough was allowed to go over and scout Luka? What if Ryan McDonough had an ownership group that was willing to back him and they took Luka Doncic at number 1 in 2018? What would have changed? I mean, would Devin and Booker and Luka become an unbelievable duo? We obviously almost likely would never have gotten that great meme between the two of them. The Dallas Mavericks wouldn't have beaten in your head in that one playoff series. We know those things would have been true. But I don't feel like much would have changed in the results. I'm not 100% sure that Devin Booker sticks around if Luka Doncic shows up. I just don't know that backcourt works at the time. Now, if they were to get together now, maybe that would work. But I feel like with how young both of them were, both of them trying to find their way in the NBA, the rough, player development that was in Phoenix at the time, I'm not sure that really would have changed things. I think Devin Booker leaves. I think the height that the Suns reach is making the finals just like they did. And I think they probably would have faced a similar fate as the Dallas Mavericks, where they eventually just decided it's time to move on from Luka. I don't think Luka becomes what Devin Booker to Suns fans has been. I think Luka would have been great. There's no doubt, because we've seen what he's able to do and how he's done it throughout his NBA career. But I don't quite feel like this would have altered Phoenix Suns history in the way some people think. As much as we got on DeAndre Ayton, and was he first pick worthy? Not in the way it turned out. But his impact with the kind of roster you had was important, especially in that finals run. If you draft Luka, guess who never shows up here? Chris Paul. And many of you feel he's a Ring of Honor member for what he was able to do. He changed the culture. You probably never get the Valley Boys in a bubble run. Like, that's the thing with these what ifs. And only a few of them, I think, really, really dramatically change things. But with one like this, it's the butterfly effect, right? You make one little change and everything becomes so vastly different around the NBA with the Phoenix Suns. And I just think you're not hoisting a Larry O'Brien trophy just because you drafted Luka. The team that they did have with DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker and Chris Paul got the closest that any Suns team has ever gotten. They had a 2-0 lead in the NBA Finals. But I don't think Luka dramatically would have changed things. I think, at least in terms of how they won. I think it would have dramatically changed things in probably the Devin Booker way. I don't think Devin Booker becomes the guy that he is, and I don't think he stays in Phoenix. But that's kind of just the way I look at it. I know a lot of people probably, and you'll hear from the Suns guys later on this, but for me, I don't think it impacts things. I'm guessing a few of them have a different feeling. Number 9 on the what if list is a Diamondbacks related question, and it goes back to the 2023 World Series, and it's simple. What if Paul Sewald got Corey Seager to fly out to right field in Game 1 of the 2023 World Series? A Game 1 win could have obviously increased the overall morale for the Diamondbacks, but that was such a jack stomping by the Rangers in general in that series. It never felt like the Arizona Diamondbacks truly had an opportunity to win that series. And I don't think this would have been enough to shift the entire feeling of what happened there. They were too young, I think, to actually step up to the moment fully. It was a magical run, and it was a fun run. But like many Arizona teams that have made it to the championship series in their given sport, they weren't the favorites. They were surprise teams. We're talking the 2009 Cardinals, the 2021 Suns, the 1976 Suns. They were teams that overachieved and had a fun ride. But I don't feel like this in particular would have put the Diamondbacks in the driver's seat with that World Series. I just feel like that was a moment that would have been nice, would have made the series longer, but I don't think it changes things as dramatically as some might. This was one that I actually debated probably shouldn't be on the list in my view. Others felt differently, but we'd love to hear what you think about both of them in the comment section. But I want to welcome Shane back here as well to get his thoughts, because I know Shane is an opinionated gentleman and probably has his thoughts and may even differ from mine. In terms of the what ifs, if Luka came to the Suns, do you think that things are dramatically different here in Phoenix?
I mean, yeah, I think it's really hard to say that Devin Booker would have left.
I don't see the two of them getting along together. I don't at that point in both their careers. I don't see both like to have the ball in their hands, or at least Devin Booker is a dramatically different player. He may have developed into what people thought he was, just a Klay Thompson light.
Yeah. I think he was already established as what he was going to become, though, at that time, at least in my opinion. I'm not sure. It's hard to say definitively. I mean, obviously, it drastically changes things. DA was a huge part of that finals run, so it's hard to say that you would make the finals again without a piece like that, without a big guy. I know you can say what you want about him. Yeah, he didn't perform at some of the biggest moments, but in that run, it's impossible to argue that he wasn't integral. Like, it makes no sense to say that. So I don't know. I mean, you have two generational scorers and talents on your backcourt. Like, it's hard to say that it wouldn't work out.
Well, the other thing, I mean, and I didn't even bring this up, Ryan McDonough doesn't lose his job at that point. So what are those moves like? That's the problem, especially in this what if, is so many different things change in that situation that it is so tough to look at and go, this is what the NBA would look like. I mean, let's think about this too. Part of this what if is DeAndre Ayton's career. What does that look like if he goes 2 to Sacramento or 3 to Atlanta or wherever he winds up, right? How different does his career look? Because he doesn't have the pressure of being that number 1 pick. There's not the expectation of a franchise who never had a real center. His career winds up drastically different at that point.
Yeah, it's hard to. I don't know. I don't know if his career ends up that different. I think the pressure thing, sure, but to me, he always just is what he is. Like,
does he turn into Marvin Bagley because he doesn't have
maybe
quality players around him in one of those other destinations?
Maybe he gives up earlier.
Maybe he doesn't get that second contract that he was talking about.
But I mean, I don't know. There are things that could have been better. I think if he goes to Sacramento, he's almost a bona fide bust. I just don't see that working.
I think I think almost anybody probably outside of Luka becomes that in that situation. Corey Seager, number 9 on the list.
I completely agree with you. I think that doesn't change the series.
Yeah, I just don't I don't see it. I mean,
It's too early.
Yeah, it's not like it was Game 6 and he gave up a walk off. Paul Sewell gave up a walk off that dramatically changed things. This was Game 1, and I don't think they had it.
No, this Rangers team was unbelievably hot. They're such a weird team. I mean, they've just been horrible since that. That team was like, yeah, the Snakes were the team of destiny of that playoffs. I don't know what it makes the Rangers then, because that was otherworldly what they were doing that year. That they could hit anything. Like the electricity within that line, the first 5 guys in that order was just unmatched anywhere else. I don't think you win because of this one pitch.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes here. Usually Shane's sitting off to my left at a desk. He is literally sitting right in front of me in a chair, and he's got the man spread going. It's a very weird,
it's a good look.
Eye contact kind of situation here. I also, Shane, have no idea how much time's left in the program because I don't have my usual clock, and your phone went dark, so I have no idea if I'm supposed to land the plane yet or not.
We got about 4 minutes.
We got 4 minutes left. Oh, geez. Well, yeah. I totally mistimed this one.
What was your favorite part outside of Summer League here?
Here in Vegas?
Yeah.
Seeing all the guys from around ALLCITY. I mean, that was a fun time to see the guys from CHGO, DLS, PHLY. DNVR, always a good time to see them, even though we have a faux rivalry when it comes to Twitter and the shows. It's always good to see the Nuggets guys. It was nice to get to meet Mark Stein in person.
Yeah.
That was cool. I think the highlight may have been talking to Mark Cuban, though. You never know when you meet those kind of guys you see on TV. You've kind of known at a distance how they're going to react, but he could not have been more gracious to sit there and talk to us and talk to many other people, and gave such a thoughtful answer when it came to even when I refer to it as new owner syndrome. He gave such a thoughtful answer. I think that was probably the highlight of that portion of Summer League, which I know is technically in there in the arena, so not quite your question, but also our trip to the circus themed place, the roller coasters, everything that people are going to see tomorrow. I think that was probably the highlight that wasn't basketball related to me, because you and I at heart are two just big kids, and that's kind of how this whole trip went, and this show's been made. So that was a lot of fun. You'll see it tomorrow here on Southwest Bias.
Yeah.
What else you got for me,
Shane? Good time. Well, if you care to wonder what my favorite part was.
Oh yeah, I should ask you that. I forget. Look, I got Vegas brain. What was your favorite part?
Definitely going on Fremont Street. That's always my favorite.
Okay. I'm going to go Old Man Yelling at Clouds, which I guess was the alternate name of this show that we were going to name it. But people with babies on Fremont Street.
People with babies in Vegas.
Well, yeah. In general, at night on the Strip is insane to me. But Fremont Street at 3 a.m., it always boggles my mind.
What are we doing?
Just like what choice have you made that your child? And it's not like people working trying to make money because they're hard on their luck. It's people out there drinking. Like we saw one of those carts that you pull kids along in. A 24-pack of beer open there with what had to be a 2-year-old at like 2:30 in the morning. I mean, come on. I get it's Vegas, but even there's a line there. So that is the program in the books again. I want to thank the mustache behind the Mac with the Mac on the floor today. The one, Shane Diefenbach. You can follow him at Shane Dief. You can follow the show at PHNX_sports. Want to thank everybody that joined us this week, in particular Mark Stein, Mark Cuban. We just had a lot of Marks on the show. Didn't get Mark Williams, but we will when we're back in Phoenix. So that is another edition in the books. You can follow me at Espo. I just want you to remember, 36 hours is the max you should spend in Vegas. Otherwise, your soul escapes your body, and you want to get home as fast as you can. And we're going to do that. Ahoy, hoy!
We all silly like the mayor.